Journey to Find Inner Peace. Lessons from the Quiet Pond. Part 1. The Lonely Journey Along the Mountain Path. In a remote village deep within the high mountains, a weary traveler wandered through gravel paths. The cold wind blew across the hills, making her footsteps echo in the solitude. She had begun a long journey, carrying a void and fatigue deep within her soul. Each step felt heavy, as if she was carrying all the worries and sorrows in her heart. Part 2. Alone on the journey. Her journey was not for joy or a usual purpose. She had wandered through many places, hoping to find wisdom and inner peace. But every path she chose seemed to lead to a dead end. Sometimes she met others on the same road, but none of them could guide her to peace. Then one day, exhausted and on the verge of giving up, she happened to see a small temple hidden among the lush green trees, deep in the mountains. Part 3. Discovering the hidden temple in the forest. Curiosity and a last glimmer of hope sparked within her. With nothing left to lose, she decided to step into the temple. Though small, the temple exuded a strange sense of peace. There was no sound of people, only the wind rustling through the leaves and the gentle chirping of birds. Her heart felt slightly calmer, but she was still not completely freed from her worries. Part 4. Meeting the monk. She walked through the old stone corridors, approaching the elderly abbot who was sitting quietly under an ancient tree. He looked at her with compassionate eyes, as if he had known all along she would come. "Master," she pleaded, her voice trembling, "I have traveled far, searching for tranquility and enlightenment. How can I achieve such peace?" Part 5. The Pond and the Stone. The monk smiled kindly and gestured for the young woman to follow him to a quiet garden behind the temple. In the garden, there was a small pond with water as clear as a mirror. He pointed to the surface of the water and said, "Look at this water. It is clear and calm, like the mind when it is undisturbed." She gazed into the water, feeling the peace radiating from the surroundings. Suddenly, the monk took a small stone and dropped it into the pond. The water rippled, waves spreading outward, blurring the reflection. When the mind is anxious and busy, it is like this water. You cannot see clearly, nor can you reflect the truth. She watched intently, but her mind was still filled with turmoil. The monk quietly sat down, his eyes half closed as if he was listening to the unrest in her heart. After a while, the water in the pond gradually returned to its calm state. He gently continued, "But if you are patient and let things settle, your mind will return to its clear state. Peace is not something that can be forced. It is the natural state of the mind when it is not disturbed." Part 6. The ripples fade away. The young woman bowed her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. But this time, she was not crying out of sorrow, but out of relief. She realized that everything she had been searching for was not somewhere far away, but within herself. The ripples in her mind had gradually disappeared, and a light sense of ease enveloped her. Part 7. Farewell and a New Beginning. The monk, seeing that she had understood the lesson, stood up and handed her a small pouch. "Inside this pouch is a stone," he said. "Carry it with you on your journey. Whenever your mind is disturbed, remember the still water in this garden, and let the stone remind you of true peace." The young woman accepted the pouch, thanked the monk, and left, continuing her journey, this time with a lighter heart and a calm soul. From that moment on, she no longer searched for peace, because she knew that peace was always within her, as long as she listened. Part 8. Life Lessons. From the above story, we can draw several important life lessons. 1. Peace comes from within. Many people, like the character in the story, often seek peace and happiness in the outside world. However, the monk's lesson shows that peace is not something that can be found externally, but is the natural state of the mind when it is undisturbed. True peace exists within us, and only when we stop chasing after worries can the mind return to stillness. 2. Patience and letting go. In life, when we face difficulties or stress, our minds often become chaotic, like the water disturbed by the stone. The lesson here is to be patient and let things naturally settle, without rushing or trying to control everything. When we let go of worries and anxieties, peace will naturally return. 3. Self-awareness. The young woman's journey was not just a physical one, but also a journey of self-awareness. Sometimes we have to face challenges and hardships to realize that all the answers are already within us. Listening to and understanding ourselves is the key to achieving peace and harmony. 4. The lesson of stillness. Just as water only reflects clearly when it is still, so does the mind. When we allow ourselves to pause, quiet the mind, and observe, we can see more clearly and make wiser decisions in life. This story encourages us to slow down, let go of unnecessary pressures, and seek peace within ourselves rather than from the outside world.
If you feel inspired by this story, please hit the like button to support us, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below with your thoughts or the Zen stories you want to hear next. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next inspirational and peaceful moments. Your interactions are a source of encouragement for our journey. Thank you for accompanying us on the path of wisdom and enlightenment.